Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, you know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannons. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Whatever you ride, ride with Shannons.
Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Blake Delaney has to move out of the way.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to your Tuesday night broadcast here on SRW TV. This evening, we bring to you, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools, round 4 of season 3 here for the Simrigs V8 Supercars AM series, and tonight we are at Imola GP. I am Nathan ShiBBy Howard, and in the comms box next to me is Thomas Preach Riley. Good evening, mate.
Good evening, ShiBBy. Good evening, everyone listening online on SRW TV. Welcome to the Simrigs Supercars AM series here on Tuesday nights. Coming from the wonderful track of Imola, 4.86 kilometres in length, made famous by the two chicanes to start, the Tamburello and the Villeneuve chicane, and then, of course, the downhill run into Aqua Minerale. And then a couple of corners that will be very, very good to watch. Some supercars at is the Variante Alta. At the top of the hill, watch the cars to climb over the curbs there. Got to keep in mind tonight also off tracks, but I'm very much looking forward to what should be a stellar race, 60-minute normal race format tonight with a top 10 shootout. So very much looking forward to what's in store.
That's right. I actually totally forgot. I was only just talking about the top 10. Oh, gosh. Just earlier, but yes, we are back for a second top 10 shootout tonight. Last week was an absolute cracker. The Sunday night, there was less than 400ths of a second between our top 10 shootout drivers, so it was absolutely neck and neck. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. The replay is live on YouTube. But yes, the amateurs are here tonight at Imola. It is going to be an absolute cracker with 30 drivers taking to the track. Some new names as well jumping on board. So good to see more drivers getting that opportunity to come out here and have a race with us.
Definitely a couple of new names popping up on the timing sheets already. We've got one up the top, Jordan McDonald. He's done quite a few laps in practice, though, getting himself accustomed to this track. But I'd be expecting to see some of our championship protagonists from the last couple of seasons really fighting their way towards the front, including Joe Marnie, Petar Pavlovich, and Tim Nicol. I'd be expecting those Quantum Pecky's performance cars to be right up there this evening.
Yeah, well, if we look at the points, mate, there's really not much in it. Between the top 15 at the moment, with Joe Marnie. Just close the tab instead of keeping it open. Joe Marnie in 11th place at the moment, last season's champion, with Jace Douglas from LMR Esports holding out the 10th spot at the moment, but Scott Weston and Darren Crosby riding the top of the table at the moment. Only 16 points gap between 1 and 2, and 21 points between 2 and 3. So there's really nothing in it. 35 points between 4th and 5th of Rick Vigor and Tim Nicol. So absolutely nothing in it at the top of this table.
Yeah, definitely not. The drivers spread out a bit, I'd say, during those championship protagonists that we're expecting to see further up. But to be honest, they'll be climbing their way through the field. We spoke to Joe last week after he got did he get second last week or something, and he was saying that he's very much looking forward to surging his way through the field again, trying to make the most of what races he can do moving forward. But definitely he will be looking to challenge the guys up the front of the field starting tonight here at Imola.
Yeah, definitely. And there's the points table on screen for everybody to see all their favourite drivers out there. Multiple cars across this season. Some big names in the Oz Sim racing. Especially look at all those multiple different teams out there. We will see a lot of teamwork tonight. Quite a lot of teams. The Quantum Pecky's boys always work extremely well together, and so do the Performance Sim racing crew, as well as Jake and Miles Burgess from Crisscross Racing. There's finally two of the lads in the V8 Supercars. It's not just a sole crisscross anymore, but those guys are known to work extremely well together. So definitely look forwards to getting out there tonight. The racecraft qualifying session will kick off in a matter of minutes now. Any hot tips for this track, mate?
I think the big one, as I mentioned in the a little bit earlier, is the off tracks for tonight. They're very easy to get around here. We're on board with Joe Marnie now. He runs down to the Aqua Minerale, which is one of those spots that you can get an off track through there, through the right hander at the bottom of the hill, and then on the exit. Quite easy to get them. The cars are understeering. You're asking a lot of the tyres all the way through the run downhill there. Variante Alta now. Big spot for off tracks as you ride the curbs. Quickest way is to try and cut both curbs and get on the power nice and early if you can. Run down here to Ravazza 1. Difficult braking zone because you sort of hit it right as you're still turning. It's the latest you can brake. Again on the anchors. Ravazza 2. Want to carry as much mid-corner speed as you can through that corner as you then start the run up the main straight. Not asking too much of the tyres here, just trying to use as minimal steering input as possible to not scrub any speed. Trying to take the shortest line through. Hit exit on the right hand side there. On the brakes. Oh no. That's a bit of a straight line. I think he saw us on camera. I think he might have seen himself.
Oh no.
But yeah, did just straight line it. But here's his teammate Liam Tipping on the way through the first Temporello chicane. Got to be careful not to excite the rear of the car as you're hammering these curbs. Run up to Villeneuve now. Difficult on the brakes again. You sort of brake, trail it in, hit that first apex curb on the left, and then heavy on the brakes to the right hander. Through the Tozer hairpin now. Oh, yep. Bit excited on the rear axle there. We might expect to see a little bit of wheel spin out of that corner, especially as the tyres start to wear out a bit. Probably not as high a tyre wear as we saw last week at Barcelona, with sustained loads not as high, but I'd still be expecting the tyres to start to struggle towards the end of those stints. There is a 36% fuel restriction tonight on these tanks, so probably about 37 litres per tank or so. So we're still going to be expecting the two-stop to be favourable, but we'll wait and see if there's any safety cars or anything like that. Cars are now streaming out for our racecraft qualifying session. 20 minutes here. It's a 1 minute 45-ish for the start of your lap. Probably get 2 laps in your first run, and then return to pits, go again. But yeah, we're expecting the drivers to be out probably with about 5-6 minutes to go, get themselves around to get a flying lap in before the server decides that's enough. Throw the checkered flag and everyone can return to pits.
Ready for the top 10 shootout.
Yes,
That's
definitely ready for the top 10 shootout.
Keeping that in mind.
Yes, definitely keeping that in mind. So the top 10 won't be set in stone, but from positions 11 all the way through to the back of the field, they will be set for the 60-minute race that is to come. So I'm expecting the drivers to take it a little bit easy on their startup and just work their way into it. Jordan McDonald, first cab out the ranks, wants to get himself a bit of clean track, get himself a lap in nice and early. A train of cars as they stream down to this corner here, Variante Alta. So Jordan just getting some temperature into his tyres now. Jason Douglas is the next one behind him. And then Joe Marnie and Troy Sipple coming out as well.
There's a big pack of drivers coming around the final 2 corners right now. There's not much free air out there, and then right behind them as well, another big pack of drivers all battling for some clean air. Do you get much draft assistance on this track?
It's a reasonably high downforce track, I would think, given some of the corners and the need for good stability under brakes. So I'd be expecting them to use a little bit of draft assistance, definitely up the main straight. But I feel like it might be working against you on the run through a lot of these corners, especially the entries or the chicanes. You need to have good front downforce, but a gem on the brakes nice and firm. So on board here with Cowie in the 991 car, running up to turn 1 now. Heavy on the brakes, cut it across the inside curb, let the car float over the top. Those black little safety curb-looking curbs can bounce the car a bit more than you want. So if you just stay to the right of them and just stay to the outside of them and just clip them ever so slightly, the car won't get too unstable.
Unstable? Yeah.
Yeah, unstable is the word. Yeah. Don't want to enforce any instability on the car as it's balancing on two wheels. I'm just watching some of the times come through now. Jordan McDonald coming up to the final to Ravazza now to set their first indicative lap time. So a little further away in that first sector, about 4 tenths compared to what Petar Pavlovic has managed in the 216 car. Running across the line now. What do we see from him? We see a 44.13. So sitting nicely at the top there. That's probably a good indication of what of the times we're expecting. Trying to see who's next across the line.
Sipple. And White.
Up there. Sipple, White.
Haley Pavlovich. Horton. Horton? Oh my gosh. Someone. Mark Horton. I'm going with Horton. It's Horton. Here's a who. That's the way I'm going to remember it. Craig Healy coming through as well over the line. Cowan as well right behind him will launch himself up into provisional P3 with a 144.886. So he's pretty chuffed with that. He's going to teleport back to the pits and get out there and have another go. Chris Burridge as well. Scotty Rattler Van Loon just jumped leader. Douglas. Yeah. Championship leader.
Still 6 tenths away though from Jordan McDonald. So Jordan's got a very good banker lap in there to start with. Darren Crosby just jumps himself up into P4 there for M1 Racing. He's done a nice lap time. Looks like he's kind of pushing on with it now as well. One of the drivers that I was expecting to see further up was Tim Nicol, but he did an invalid lap to start with. So he does have the fastest Sector 3 at the moment. Teleported back to pits to start again.
Scott Weston looks to be on a pretty decent lap out there, getting his personal best locked in as he come across the line.
Invalid
lap, unfortunately. Good looking lap.
Will definitely be the story of the night, is staying between the track limits, not getting any X's this evening.
A lot of cars out there, and only 17 managed to actually lock a lap in. Ben Pollock being... No, it was an invalid as well.
Ben Pollock's got a lap time, it's a
just
56.3. It's just not quite. It's a little further off the pace than he'd like. I'm sure that he can reload and go again. Some good top speeds out there at the moment. Darren Crosby has the highest top speed at the moment, 285. So even though I said it's not a low downforce track, it's probably closer to the medium in terms of these top speeds that we're seeing, more indicative of, for example, a Bathurst downforce package. You've probably got to deal with more curbs here, so the cars are a little bit softer, so they can cope with the curbs, riding the curbs. All these drivers have been putting in work during the week to get themselves a setup that they feel comfortable with. Burgess just still working on getting a valid lap in. This should be his first lap now, though. He's just started. 7.5 minutes through our qualifying session. Jordan McDonald does sit at the top at the moment on 44.132, with Scott Rattler sitting about 0.6 back, and then a lot of cars in the mid to high 44s. Rattler, Douglas, Crosby, and Cowan and Sipple all sitting in probably within about 1.5, 0.2 of each other. See how much curb Miles took. With Pyrrell Taylor at the top of the hill, running down to Aqua Minerale. Bit of tap the brakes just at the apex there, just to settle the car, get it across, get some bite in the nose. Floats it nicely over the curb. On the exit there is one of those spots we'll have to watch for off tracks. It's very easy to get an off track on the exit there. Just as you light the throttle up, want to pick up the speed as best you can. Tipping bangs it up there on a 44.4. So you're starting to challenge that top time so far from Jordan McDonald. JTIT Race on Oz. Their drivers have always looked the goods. Joe Marnie at the moment just coming across, I think, to finish his lap.
Horton. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get that name right. Mark Horton just launched himself into third, and then Marnie just got in behind him as well into provisional P4. Times are starting to settle in around that 144 to 145 mark for the top 15 there. Burgess just on the edge of the 45, so a few of these guys are definitely going to want to try and use the last 10 minutes here to really see if they can pick up the pace. Even a couple of hundredths of a second will definitely move them up close to that chance for that top 10. As Tim Nickel. Provisional P3 now. So Cowan is the last on the mark for our top 10 shootout here tonight. You can see just how close Sipple and Weston both are to jumping Cowan. So that's where the battle is going to be for this qualifying. See who goes forwards into the top 10 shootout. Callum Hodgkinson coming around on some good looking sectors. Hasn't managed to set a lap yet. Oh, and commentator cursed him. Off the track he goes. That is unfortunate. Tar Pavlovich pretty comfortable sitting at 15. We know he can be quicker than that.
Fastest first sector so far. Could be a good boost here if he's kept it clean. No, off track.
No, you did say that this was going to be one of those tracks. 24 cars have managed to get their lap in so far. Still quite a fair few. Marty Hansen just locks ones in for GMK Logistics. Move up into 20th. Chris Barrage as well, I just saw come across, sitting in 16th at the moment. Travis Nilsson for Performance Sim Racing is coming over now. No, sorry, he's a Team SRW Motorsport. Yeah. There is a Travis that races in Performance Sim Racing though. Jordan
Daly.
That's the one, Travis Daly.
Here tonight. Oh yes, he is in 14th, my bad.
Jordan McDonald, new name to the series. Had an opening, so he's been allowed to jump in as other drivers aren't able to attend. So Jordan McDonald, new driver to the league. Never heard of the name before. But out here...
Are you seeing the livery that I'm seeing? Sim Blacks?
Yes.
The side of the car? Yes.
It does say
now,
Sim Blacks.
Chat, remind me if I'm wrong, but I think that when a name that people will know from the supercars in real life, Richie Stanaway, when he races in Scops, V8 Scops, I think he runs Sim Blacks.
Interesting.
So
he's a New Zealand sim gear who don't know, I didn't know. I actually had to go Google it myself. But yeah, giving it to the AM drivers tonight. Really setting some fast laps. Tipping still not far off the back. This is going to be an interesting top 10 shoot. Look how close they are on top of each other again. There's not much between these drivers right now.
I'm going to put it out there and say that I think the cutoff time will be somewhere around a low 44.8.
Yeah, well, that's where sort of Cowie City is, right on that cusp of...
I'm thinking more than closer towards Douglas.
Douglas, yeah.
44.83. I'm
And
thinking
Gerard.
Douglas might be the cutoff for the 10 at the moment. So I'm expecting the times to improve.
Garrett just jumped from 25th up into 17th, so there is still improvements happening. There has been a change. I think Douglas... Where's my timing go? Douglas has jumped up into P5 then.
And Rick Vigor has done a 44.78 to put himself
Above
just in
Crosby,
8th at the
yeah,
moment.
so he's just jumped Crosby as well.
So I feel like my 44.8 prediction might be a bit slow. Maybe a 44.7 is close to what we're expecting as the cutoff time. Joe Marnie on an outlap now.
Brett Taylor straight into the pits. Chris Burridge for M1 Racing. He's coming through the last sector, sitting down in P16 at the moment. Can he
A little bit
improve?
aggressive. Bit of oversteer on the exit. Across the line, is it an improvement? It's not. It was about 500ths away from his best lap time, so definitely be looking to make more of an improvement there. Travis Nielsen across the line. This is to start the flying lap now.
Yeah. Ah, that was his outlap. Of course. Aaron Crosby coming across now, sitting in P9. He jumps to P3. From P9 to P3 in one quick lap. Cowan is still sitting on right on that edge. Dropping out of that top 10.
Nickel. Coming through Ravazza 1 into Ravazza 2 now. Nice on the exit, nice and smooth with the throttle application, no hint of wheel spin. Coming across the line now, this should be good to challenge towards the front. It is 44.02, goes to the top by a tenth and a bit over Jordan McDonald. So the track is definitely coming to these drivers, starting to hang it all out there. Still got 5 of our top 10 sitting in the pits. About to start heading out now, I would think. People definitely like Vigor and Cowan should be out there trying to improve their lap times at the moment.
Reese to Goey. PSR boys. I don't think he was out here last week. Not that I can remember him being out here.
No, I don't remember either, but he's got 2 greens. Get himself started. That may have been an outlap as well, so we've got, what have we got? 4 drivers who are yet to set a time, so it'll give us 30 drivers on the grid.
McDonald just fired back.
43.7. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a new challenger who has joined mid-season, who is showing some really exciting pace from the get-go. Put 3 tenths over Tim Nicol. Cowie is still in the pits. He's only done 2 laps. To be the one fly that he's done.
Hot tip. Cowie is not in the top 10. Sipple actually is in the top 10 shootout. Cowan has received a rear grid start for not making it back to the pits after the race last week. Thanks for letting us know that, Cowie. he just wanted to get out there and set a lap and see what sort of pace he's at. So that actually means Sipple is the bottom of the top 10 at this point.
Rightio. So that means that the cut-off time at the moment is a 45.3. But the next driver is a 44.78, which is Rick Vigor. So anyone slots in between that, what's that, almost 5/10 gap, they're getting into the shootout by the skin of their teeth, I should say. So Sipple at the moment, safe in the top 10. But we've got Scott Weston, who's out there about halfway through his lap. Reese to go, he come across the line now, 3 greens. What does he do for himself? Up to 19, 45.7. One more chance to improve. Send it now and hope. I'd say that anyone who hasn't started the lap by now won't be getting to the flag.
No, dare say they won't, mate. A lot of green starting to light up there. Shane Newlands, Callan Hodgkinson. Here
in the 73 car. Looking for an improvement. 2 greens to start the lap. Doesn't quite improve on his best. He's about 6/10 off his best.
Callan Hodgkinson managed to do better and actually jump in there for P25.
I think the last car we're going to see who will be on a flying lap might be Tipping in the 78 car. I think that's the only one, based on my estimate of time, it's the only one who's going to get there. Steven Sinkovic at the moment sitting in 27th spot. See, so Sipple didn't improve on his last lap time. There's not much improvement going on at the moment. Panar Pavlovich will probably be the next one to see, although I don't think he's, just in terms of the top 10, I don't think he's going to make it around for his lap. So now it's just about setting the top 10. Liam Tipping, who I think will be the last of our drivers who will get across the stripe to see where he sits on the grid in the top 10 shootout, I should say. Where does he come out? Doesn't improve. So it looks like our top 10 is set. I'm going to see if there's any improvements further back in the field at the moment. Brett Taylor, does he improve?
No, he didn't improve.
Oh, wait, this is a standalone qualifying session, which means the time runs, doesn't it?
Yeah. So whoever's out over the line, yeah.
So 73 car, who's that? That is Shane Newlands. So we'll put it back to pits, is in pits. 169 of Matthew Gerard. He's going to come across the stripe to finish his lap. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. Who else have we got? We've got
Mr. Sinkovic will be next.
Sinkovic, can he improve off the last spot on the grid? Time has he managed? Should be an improvement of 48.2, but can't quite get above Ben Pollock there, so he'll be starting out at 28. I think Darren Crosby is on one.
He will be the last one to cross the line for the racecraft equipment qualifying session.
And that will set the grids for spots 11 through to 30. But also set our top 10 shootout runners. We get the results pop up on screen in just a second.
Maybe 2 seconds or 3 seconds. It's definitely coming, though.
Definitely coming.
Yeah. Do have to wait for the session to finalise. Send me that data. But then we will be taking a extremely quick break. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes just to hop on over into the top 10 shootout thanks to racecraft equipment, to see our top 10 qualifiers battle it out one more time to set the grid and to find out who will take pole position this evening. Well, that is your final.
Here we go. So here's the results from our Racecraft Simulations qualifying session. Jordan McDonald bangs home the fastest lap by 2.5 tenths or so from Tim Nicol, Liam Tipping and Darren Crosby, all the way through to Rick Vigor and Andrew Cowan, who we did note has a rear of grid start. So Troy Sipple will take his place in the top 10 shootout, and he will be the first car out, making it 3 Quantum Pecky's performance cars inside the top 10 this evening, joining the Race on Oz duo of Tipping and Marnie. And then looking backwards, so Scott Weston, Bruce White, Travis Daly, Padar Pavlovich, Chris Burridge, Matthew Gerard, Craig Healy, Reese DeGoey, Miles Burgess. Flick over the page. It's pretty tight all the way through from about 17th through to Travis Nielsen, who's next over. Brett Taylor, Mark Peck, Marty Hansen, Callum Hodgkinson, Shane Newlands, Ben Pollock, Stephen Sinkovich, Stephen Kennedy and Jake Edwards should also round out the back of the grid alongside Andrew Cowan. So that will be the grids set for positions 11 through to 30 this evening. But those top 10 shootout runners will jump across to our top 10 shootout session and will get themselves ready and raring to go after a brief from race control. Whilst that's going on, we'll just take a quick, very quick break and be back with you very, very soon for Simrigs V8 Supercars AM series here on a Tuesday night at Imola.
Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, you know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannon's. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Whatever you ride, ride with Shannon's.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Thanks for sticking with us through that really short break. Huge shout out to all our sponsors you saw scrolling over your screen. If you want to find out any more information about any of those sponsors, all their links are in the description. A huge shout out to Simrigs.com, of course, for coming on board for our V8 Supercars AM and Pro Am series. And of course, Warren and Brown Tools for all their support through round sponsorship this season. And of course, Racecraft Simulations for sponsoring our qualifying top 10 and pole position. And that is what we are in now. This is your top 10 shootout here tonight at Imola. While we wait for the drivers to get briefed. If you don't know what a top 10 shootout is, you get one warm-up lap. And then you get one fast lap. That is all you get. Any off tracks, any X's, any little mistakes, your lap becomes invalid. This is a battle for the number one position on the grid this evening. As I do believe the session has been moved forwards, we should be getting our first driver appearing in the pits. We do. Troy Sipple will be going out for the warm-up lap. How you doing, Jason? Welcome to the stream, mate. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Good luck tonight, mate, in the top 10 and, of course, in the race. Might get a chopper shot over the top of Sipple as he does his warm-up. Have a look at this track and see what you guys out there viewing think of it. Is there much elevation change in this track? There's a bit towards
there
the
is a
middle
fair
of the
bit.
track,
There's not a fair bit on the main, like on your first two chicanes. But once you get the Tozer, it then goes uphill up towards Peraltala, and then you're back downhill into Upper Minerale, and then back uphill again to Variante Alta, and then you plunge downhill in the braking zone to Rabatza 1. So there is a fair bit of elevation change, but yeah, only towards the top side of the circuit. Troy Sipple here on his warm-up lap, just getting himself the tyres up to temp, not asking too much of them, tyres and brakes up to temperature. Coming through Tozer now. Ivan Pecky's performance driver has been probably up there in the top 10 most races this season. We'll be hoping to keep that momentum rolling through the top 10 shootout here. We will get an onboard with Troy during his flying lap. I'll try and talk you through what he's thinking about, what he's trying to do. Starts thinking about getting himself set up, ready to go. His aim will be a clean lap, get himself ready for, try and get himself as best a position as he can. He comes across the start-finish line in just a second to start his flying lap here. Across the line now, so full 6th gear, holds it in 6th gear, sits gets the car middle of the track over to the right-hand side now, brakes just at the 200 board down to the third gear, I'd expect. Up over the curb, maybe a little bit deep through the corner. Careful, short shifts fourth. Don't want to overexcite the rear tyres too much. The brakes now for the Villeneuve chicane. Fourth, and then we'll hammer it down to third just as he passes the left-hand curb up onto the exit curb. Brakes just at that exit road on the right-hand side. Through toes are now. Short shifts to second. Down the run up to Colonel Tower, top of the hill. Brakes just as the car gets settled over the crest. Don't want to lock a brake whilst the car's unweighted. Oh, about a third gear is nice. Very anti-altar. Uses engine braking really to slow the car down, given you don't have a lot of grip on the tyres through the braking zone. A little bit of scrub through the Alta. Nice and clean so far. Pushes a little bit after the apex. Ravazza 1, Ravazza 2 now. Parks the car on the exit curb. Full throttle, watch your gear shifts. Comes up to the line now for our benchmark time. Does come across with a 45.609. So it's a nice first lap by him. Probably a little bit further away from where he wanted, but we'll get him in the box now. Troy, mate, well done on that lap. That was a good, nice bank up, ready to see what happens throughout the top 10 shootout.
Yeah, just a safe one, I think. I never got much time to practice this week, so the track's really hot and slippery, so no chicanes. Oh, so easy just to go off and get an off track and it's all over, so pretty happy with that. So.
Yeah, we just saw through the first part of the Tamburello chicane, you might have just pushed a little bit too deep. Just expected a bit more grip. Is that what you thought?
Yeah, I just couldn't stop it. Same as at the end of the last two left-handers. I just couldn't pull it up and didn't want to lock the brake and slide off. So yeah, so she's going to be a tough one to go on for an hour, I think.
Well, if it's anything like last week, the track was a little bit cooler during the race. So hopefully that makes it good to race on. But we'll wish you luck, mate. Go well.
All right, thank you. Hope it keeps heating up for the boys behind me, so it'll make it better for me.
We'll see what happens.
Well, thanks, mate. See ya.
Jumping to our next runner now, Rick Vigor in the 014 Angry Birds Racing entry. Bright yellow, hard to miss. Heavy on the brakes. He's getting pulled up nicely. Yeah, again, a little bit deep into turn one. So just need to bring that braking marker back by about 5 or so metres just to make sure you can get it stopped for the apex. The next couple of corners. Faster through the first sector than what we saw from Troy by about 4/10. Only by about a tenth of a second, I should say. Through toes are now just washed a little bit at the mid-corner. So we'll lose a little bit of time there. Nice and steady through the Peraltala. Down the hill into Aqua Minerale. Nice run there. Been a good third sector there. Really putting himself in a good spot here. To better that lap time. That 3/10 in that fourth sector. Can he make it up with his final run now up to the line? Not quite there enough, I don't think. Bangs in on 45.728, so still a good lap time. but Sipple manages to advance himself one position so far. We get Rick joining us in the comms box here, mate. Well done. It's good to see you in the top 10 most weeks, if not every week. Give us your thoughts on that lap, mate.
Yeah, just pushed too hard into the hairpin and lost a good probably half a second there, I think. So that hurt, but yeah, I finished the lap. It's pretty easy to get an off track in this place, so that was my first goal.
Well, mate, you achieved that goal, and even though you had the little error at the hairpin, it still should be good, a competitive lap time just to get yourself ready to go for what should be a pretty good 60-minute race.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Track temperatures are nice and high, so it'll be slippery. It'll be survival of the fittest, I think. Easy to make a mistake.
Well, mate, I'm looking forward to see how you can progress through the race. So good luck, and we'll watch with interest.
Thanks, guys.
Scott Rattler next to start his lap. Best we've seen through the first corner. Would have had a chance to have a look at the other drivers, just see what they're doing, see what the track state looks like. Villeneuve chicane now. Good ride control over the curbs. Very settled. In the hairpin now. Pulls the car up nicely. It's looking like a good lap so far. He's got 3/10 through the first sector on Troy Sipple. Second sector now, what does he manage? Another 3/10 on Troy, so this is looking like a very, very healthy lap time. Nice and smooth through the top of the hill. And Aquaminerale now on the brakes. Lots of engine braking just to get the car stopped and turned. Another 3/10, so this is looking like a very, very strong lap here. Definitely going to be in the 44s. All purple so far. Running to this fourth intermediate. Just there or thereabouts with Troy. By half a tenth or so away to his best Sector 4 lap time. Cumulative though looks very, very strong at the moment for Scotty Rattler. Coming up to the line now. Will put himself at the top on a 44.537. Puts a whole second on Sipple in the end, so his run through the first three sectors was very, very strong indeed. Scotty in here in just a second. Scotty, mate, well done on that lap. That was very impressive. Put a full second over Troy Sipple, your teammate behind you. Did you have a chance to watch the other drivers or watch Troy's lap in particular? You probably would have been speaking to him as well, because it looked like you pulled the car up nicely for turn one.
Yeah, no, I saw the back end of Troy's lap, but I was too busy chatting to the boys in Discord in the lounge room. But no, I felt, look, it was a conservative lap. Track temp's going up, obviously, and the tyres aren't going to last around here. It's something that I think everybody's going to consider when they're going for an overtake or what are they trying to do in the chicane. I think a lot of people are going to lock up, but I'm sort of happy with the lap. It was all right.
It was all right as he puts a full second over his teammate. Well done, mate. Hopefully you can make the most of the starting position that you're going to have, and let's see if anyone can either beat you or if they're all going to slot in behind you and you catapult your way up towards the field.
Oh yeah, I'll probably end up 7th. But cheers, lads.
All right, mate. Good luck. We'll watch on with interest.
Good on you. Cheers, boys.
Marty starting his lap. Very nice through turn one. Just had to catch a little bit of wheel spin coming out of turn 2 there. It's a little bit further away than what Scotty managed earlier. Oh, lots of air, and that'll be an off track. That will unfortunately be his lap done. Just grab those black safety curbs on the inside. Go consideration from race control.
Joe
Just return
wants
back to pits.
see that as a replay. I'm sure he might want to see that, right?
I doubt it.
Should we drag him in here? Probably not. I don't know. Oh, he's not even in there. He hasn't even come to the green room. Unfortunate, Joe. But, mate, if you are watching this, get out there and do a good job racing tonight, bud, because we all know you've got the pace and the skill.
Definitely. We know that he'll be raring to fight his way towards the front of the field, really try and capitalise on what he can and try and get himself right back in this championship fight.
Well, he's only in P11, and this is only round 4. Lots of points.
It is only round 4.
Yeah, lots of points still on the table. But that also does mean lots of points out there for everybody else out there on track. And with young guns like Jason Douglas really starting to show his form over the last few rounds, could be one to watch. Sitting in P10 in the championship right now, could be a big mover over the next couple of rounds. Just
leading before last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, yep.
Leading the championship, and then just had a rough week last week.
Yeah, that's right. Over 1 week, he went from P1 to P10 in the championship. That's how close this points table is at the moment.
He got no points last week, so he'll definitely be hoping to make the most of it tonight and get himself right back up there. Second qualifying was quite good to put himself into the top 10.
Definitely. We've had Ray Douglas, Jason Douglas's old man, drop in. And he said, "Hi, Mr. Vigor. Are you related to Rod Vigor from Albury? Because he was my boss in telecom." Well, unfortunately, mate, he's not in the box with us now. But if he sees the broadcast, he might just be able to answer you. Jason Douglas from LMR Esports is coming through now to set his lap for the top 10 shootout here tonight. We'll ride on board. Listen to that
nice narrow line into turn 1. Late on the brakes. Manages to get it pulled up nicely, so very good modulation to the brake pedal there. Looks very gripped up. First sector, better than Scotty Rattler's first sector, only by about half a tenth. That looks nice and composed under brakes here. Picks up the throttle very, very nicely. Not a hint of wheel spin there. Just about half a tenth away from Scotty Rattler's first sector. A little bit of oversteer there as he hit the curb. Massive amounts of engine braking there. What does that do for his lap time? For sector 3, just lost about a tenth. Change of direction was very nice. Car was very planted as he went to reef the steering wheel from right to left. Run down the hill now. All the engine braking. Looked like the car was a little bit chirpy on the rear brake. Fires it through the gears. Run up to the line now. What does this do for his lap time? I'm expecting it to be probably a 44.7. It's a 44.853, so slots himself into P2. Still a healthy lap time. Should put himself in a nice position for the race. The LMR Esports driver.
Who joins us in the comms box right now?
G'day guys, how are you?
Good, mate. How'd that lap feel, bud?
It felt good until I hit the last corner and got a bit sideways, but it'll be alright.
Was that engine braking or too much hard of the loud pedal?
Probably the right foot.
Probably the right foot, mate. Well, you need that to make these cars go forwards, but you can also use that to make them slide out pretty badly. But, mate, the car's looking really planted out there tonight. You feeling comfortable with your setup?
Yeah, feeling comfortable. Yeah, so see what happens.
Well, mate, we've been watching you race and race extremely hard over the last couple of weeks, and we look forwards to seeing you out there on the track again tonight, mate. So good luck this evening.
Yeah, thank you. I hope to see you later.
Too easy, mate.
All right, as we get Mark Horton starting his lap now. White and green Commodore 009 car. Heavy on the brakes down into turn one. Nice. Takes some of that black safety curb nicely. Just to control the right of the car. See what it does for the first sector. It's right there with Scotty Van Loons. So it's looking like a good start to this lap. Looks okay on the curb there on the exit. Managed to pull the car up nicely for Tozer. It's about 3/10 away through sector 2, so it's already starting to look like maybe a time for P2, but he's got 3 more sectors to make up the time. Big spot is through here. Aqua Minerale pulls the car up nicely, just beelines it across that curb. Tell you what, give me white rims on a Commodore any day of the week.
White rims on a Commodore. What's that rim that all Commodore owners love?
Steelies?
Steelies do look good though. I see them when the Commodore, when they used to have them on cop cars, they used to be like, oh man, they look good. As Mark Horton comes across the line for his top 10 shootout lap, where is that going to slot him in? Was looking extremely nice and smooth. We'll jump him into provisional P3 right now. It's a little bit slower than his actual qualifying lap, but when you've only got one lap to put it in, that is what can happen. Let's get him in now. Mark, how you doing, mate?
Hey, how you going?
Good, mate. Good. How you feeling with the car, the setup, the track tonight?
Yeah, actually, pretty good. Temperature's getting a little bit hotter and hotter, so unfortunately the guys that are getting later are losing out a little bit, but...
Has it increased that much that you feel it's going to be starting to affect the tyres?
We got out to 36 degrees now, yeah.
Yeah, wow, that is a blistering track. Well, mate, you didn't hold back and you got out there and you've got yourself in provisional P3 for the moment, mate. So congratulations and good luck this evening. We look forward to watching this race.
Thank you very much.
Next to start their lap is Darren Crosby. He's been very, very quick throughout the season so far. Definitely expecting him to bang in a very, very fast lap time here. Stephen Kennedy in chat saying, go Daz. Look nice over the curbs there through turn 1 and 2. 21.3, so about a 10th away from the best first sector we've seen, 10th and a half or so. Look nice through the Villeneuve chicane.
There's really nothing in these sectors between these drivers, is there?
Definitely not. See what his sector 2 is. Target is a 21.4, does a 21.6. But this is looking like it'll be a comparable lap time to what Mark Houghton, Horton. We'll make sure we'll make sure we get it right. Sector 3 split coming up on the run between Minerale and Variante Alta. 24-3. So yeah, so sitting where Mark Horton is, probably challenging for that P3 at the moment. Last sector needs to be strong. 15-2 matches Jason Douglas's fourth sector. Does pull the lower gear. Control the wheel spin on the exit. Hopefully won't have affected his terminal speed as he gets up to the line now. See where it puts him. 22.5, it'll put him into P3 on a 45.0, so slots himself right in between Jason and Mark there. Darren, mate, that was a good looking lap. You're currently sitting P3. What were your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, a bit slippery. I just tried a different setup before I went out there for quali, and I think a drop down was a little bit too high, so I think I'll go with a lower drop down in the race. But anyway, I'm happy with that. Third place. Bit slippery out there, but it was good fun.
Lower drop down. Now remind me what that does. Is that for acceleration or is that for top speed? I can't remember which way.
Just the gear ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a shorter gear to get speed out of the corners, but yeah, you're doing a lot more gear changes to try and get speed out of it, but with the track being slippery, the car wants to light up a little bit on you.
Yep. Do you think that'll impact rear tyre wear throughout the race?
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So
okay.
I'll go to a higher gear in the race.
Yeah, control that rear tyre temp. That's,
try and flow through the corners a bit better.
Yeah. Yep. Well, hopefully you can make that setup change, and it gives you an advantage throughout the race. So, good luck, mate. Go well.
No worries. Thank you.
See you at the end.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
Liam tipping out the second of our JTIT race on Ozcars. Came in last season towards the back end and banged his authority with a clean sweep at the Nürburgring. Oh, bangs a lot of that curb. Car gets very unsettled. So what that does for his first sector time. 21.5, so even slower than his teammate. We'll be able to make that up. Bangs it on the curb there as well. Hits it on the apex curb there of Tozer, so we know he's got it. We know he's got it pulled up nicely. Up the hill now, 21.5. So he's managed to pull back some time through that second sector. Keeps that inside curb there under brakes. So the car looks a little bit more stiff the way that it's coming off the curbs. 24.1, so it's looking like a good lap time here. Good recovery after that first sector. Bangs all the curb. And I think that's an off track. He's backed out of it. So that will be 2 JTIT race on Ozcars with off tracks who will be starting from the back of the top 10 now. That's not the result that he would have wanted at all, unfortunately. Drive it back into pit lane now. Liam, mate, unfortunate through Variante Alta that you just grabbed a bit too much curb. Was the car unsettled at all, or were you just trying to fire it?
Had a bit of a wobbler through sector 1, so I think I was just trying to make up for lost time and just overcooked it a little bit. So yeah, bit of a bugger, but you know, I know I've got the pace. Just got to. We'll get back up with some strategy. Me and Joe are in the same position, so yeah, a bit of a bugger, but tyres were warm. I think I was cold. I think that's the problem.
I think most of us have those moments in sim racing, mate. Yeah, you and Joe starting off the back of the top 10, so working with strategy, it'll be good to have your teammate right there, and you can work together to make some passes, hey?
Yeah, that's it. I think the biggest thing is going to be trying to get some clean air and be able to run our own pace, because we've both got the pace to be a lot higher up, but we'll just have to work our way out to do that.
So I'm going to watch you guys with interest for strategy and undercuts and overcuts and whatever you want to try and work out. We saw Joe last week, I think, ran an undercut in that first stint and worked out for him to get a good result. So hopefully we'll see you guys make your way to the top of the field as well through strategy. But we'll look with interest, mate.
Fingers crossed.
All right, good luck tonight, mate.
Cheers, bud.
Tim Nicol now, starting his lap. One of our benchmark qualifiers this season and last season too, has been very, very quick throughout. Bonapecki's performance driver, looking to unseat his teammate. Lots of... Looked like he ran a little bit deep through turn one. Will that affect his lap time at all? 21.3. Needs a little bit of work there to find himself further up through the field. Car definitely looks dancy on the rear. A little bit of push at the apex there. The tyres scrub. .4, so does beat his teammate to the second sector. That is the best second sector we've seen tonight. So the car is coming alive, definitely very tail happy at the moment. Much more curb than we've seen from any of the drivers on the entry to to Aqua Minerale. Pull it up nice here for the chicane, top of the hill. Nice change of direction once again. One matches his teammate again. Run up to the line now. What does this do for him? Won't quite be enough to beat his teammate, but does put himself into P2 of 44.807. So it does pip Jason Douglas in the end by half a tenth. Put himself starting on provisional front row with only one more runner to come. Tim, mate, well done. That puts you starting next to your teammate at the moment with only one more runner. How frustrated are you that you didn't quite pick your teammate?
Not really. The track's super hot, so I knew it was going to be tough to do a nice lap. You know what I'm like, guys. I've been working on not binning it on the top 10 shootout, which I've been prone to. So I'd rather be that sort of top 5 than. But no, to go Scotty Van Loon. He's been working hard. So, but yeah, no, it's good as long as we've got some team members up there, and looks like it's going to be a nice little comp with the Dougal. Doonal, or whatever his name is. Donald. Another Kiwi import, so should be good.
Well, we will watch with interest, mate, to see how you and Scotty go. And Sipple in there as well, so 3 cars in the top 10, and let's see what happens, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
Right, on board now with the new driver to the league, Jordan McDonald. Away from Kiwi land, did set the fastest time in our racecraft qualifying session. Now can he take out the top 10 shootout tonight? Was showing very consistent times in the qualifying and practice, so let's see if that pressure of a top 10 shootout either gets to him or helps aid him in a win. And I'm going to say...
His second sector was almost 2.5 tenths than the fastest we've seen. He was a fair way away in the first sector, but he's definitely on it here. Really going to challenge Scotty Van Loon up at the top. It's a little bit further away through sector 2. So much curve he takes through here. Yeah, nice.
He got that car settled really quickly there.
Fastest through the fourth sector, heavy on the brakes. Just got to pull it up. Looking like this is really going to challenge Scotty Rattler at the top. And the gear shifts that matter now. B lines it for the start-finish line. Comes across. And he does take pole position by 4/100ths of a second over Scott Rattler. Bangs in a 44.493. Gets himself the racecraft pole position tonight for the round 4 race here at Imola. We'll get Jordan in just a second into the comms box, but he's done very, very well there. Jordan, mate, well done. Welcome to the series, I should say, to start with, but well done on that lap, mate. That was mega.
Yeah, cheers. I've got the jitters, man. I haven't done a lot of tarmac racing in a long time, so just sitting there bloody shaking my ass off trying to put a lap together is pretty difficult. And obviously these guys have, Scotty had put together a good lap, and Tim was obviously quick in the first qualifying, so it was just nerves galore.
Have you ever been in a top 10 shootout before?
No. I was asking them all the questions, like, what are we doing? How does it work? Obviously I've watched it online and on TV and that, but yeah, I haven't exactly done one in the sim before. I'm normally a midget racer on the speed race side of things, so it's all foreign to me.
Well, mate, you could have fooled us tonight, seeing you go through the practice, the qualifying, and now the top 10 shootout as top tier contender tonight, mate, which is absolutely phenomenal coming from a dirt midget driver.
Putting some laps together is easy, in practice I didn't have any nerves, and as it got closer and closer to qualifying, I could feel my legs shaking under brakes and all that kind of thing. So, the race is a different story. It's an hour long, so there's plenty of time to make mistakes. Hopefully not, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, because these guys, I'm sure, are pretty seasoned, and I'm a fresh guy. I've only done two supercar races in the last, 6 years or something like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Gee whiz, a natural. Only to do 2 races in these cars that are extremely difficult to make the most out of, and you've just banged in a time that is very, very good, especially in that qualifying session. That time to get yourself provisional pole was exceptional, mate. So well done. We'll give you a chance to thank any sponsors that you have, and definitely start with your team name so that everyone can go and give you a follow on socials.
Yeah, the lads in the team, they're obviously watching the stream and supporting me, and they were saying that I come up as a privateer. So the team that I run and race for is Maverick Sim Sports. We're obviously predominantly dirt guys, so it's probably why you haven't heard of us. But obviously big thanks to Stefan and Victor from Simblacks. They've supported the team since day one, and a lot of the boys are starting to get themselves some pretty hot kit in terms of sim gear. So big thanks to him. Big thanks to Titan Hire, my sponsor from the Real Life Racing, Adrenaline Race Cameras, and basically everything that's on the car. I only whipped up the livery not too long ago. So yeah, and obviously a big thanks to Dane from PSR, Passion Sim Racing. He's really opened his arms and kind of helped us all out in terms of getting our feet wet in the supercar and getting all our settings right, because we were miles away. So big thanks to him and everyone that's kind of been supporting us so far. Oh, and shout out to mum and dad at home, because I know they're tuning in.
Maybe that's why we've got so many viewers tonight, mate. It's all because your family has tuned in to have a watch with us, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, got the whole whānau from New Zealand watching,
Yeah, mate, that's what we love. We're always keeping an eye on the track and also the chat. So we love having a chat with our viewers and hearing who they're cheering out in the crowd out there. So good to see you coming on board, mate. I honestly hope you enjoy racing with these lads, because some of these guys are some of the best AM drivers I have yet to see. All extremely, I forgot what the word was. Damn.
extremely well versed in
Yeah.
supercars and
Yeah, that sounds good.
extremely competitive. So you've got it in for you tonight, mate. But given your pace so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we see you in the green room after the race.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. And obviously these guys, I'm sure they're going to try and make it as hard as possible to make sure someone that's fresh to the series doesn't get a win. So, yeah, it'll be elbows up, hopefully, and make sure it'll be a good race. And everyone watching, thanks for watching, and thanks for the stream, guys. Appreciate it.
It's all right, mate. Before you go, do you know a Nathan Kane?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, he's part of our team. He's a bit of an old boy. Well, young boy that looks old. He's missing his hair on top. So...
Well, you're his hero, mate. He's dropped into chat to say that you're his hero.
Oh, he's a good lad, that fella. He's he actually used to crew on my midget in the real world, so he's done a lot for me in the recent years, and he also is the manager for our dirt side of the team as well. So he's a good dude, and thanks for watching, Nate. Love you to bits.
He's got a bloody good name too, might I just say.
Yeah, you guys got the same name, eh?
Yep.
Might have to have a runoff in the tarmac and then the dirt cars and see who's the fastest.
Oh, no, please don't put me in a car. No, I'm here for broadcasting and commentating, mate, not racing. That's
I'm sure you do a good job.
Well, mate, we look forward to seeing you out there tonight. 60 minutes of racing. There'll probably be a couple of different pit strategies, so get out there, race hard, mate, and stay safe.
Yeah, will do, mate. Thanks.
It was Jordan McDonnell. He will take out your Racecraft Simulations top 10 and pole position here for his first night in SRW. You are watching the Simrigs V8 Supercars AM series. Thanks to Warren and Brown Tools, we are round 4 here at Imola. We will be back after an extremely short break for our 60-minute race here to see who will take out round 4. Stick with us and we will be back really soon.
Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, you know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannon's. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Whatever you ride, Ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, you know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannons. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Whatever you ride, ride with Shannon's.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, You know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannon's. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Ride with Shannon's.
Call 1446 46 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
And we are back. Thank you for sticking with us through that extended little break there while we waited for the race session to go live. We are now live within a 10-minute warm-up for the drivers out there before we take to our 60-minute race here tonight at Imola for your Simrigs V8 Supercars AM series. Thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. While we are on the note of sponsors, I would like to shout out all our other sponsors that help us day in and day out. Grimm Industries, home of the V8 coffee table. Shannon's Insurance. Rare Spares, Channel 31, which we do broadcast. Our broadcasts go live to Channel 31. If you are in Victoria, you can watch this on your TV. Warren and Brown Tools, simrigs.com and temptingsweets.com.au. And of course, we couldn't do it without you, the viewers, all the drivers on track. So huge shout out to all of you that join our broadcast day in, day out, or evenings in, evenings out. And of course, a huge shout out to all the drivers that get out there and put on this wonderful show. Speaking of our drivers, we are going to have another look at our championship leading points. Let's get this back up on screen. Professionalism, adjusting stuff on the go. Right, this is your amateur series points. There, as you can see, 39 cars in this series. Plenty of cars, plenty of points. We were talking through the break about Jace Douglas from LMR Esports. Only last week was he actually leading the championship. and now he is down in 10th spot. And we're using Jason as an example because it just shows how close all the points are for the AM drivers this season and how close the racing has been. Because if you have a look through, at the top 15, they're less than 150 points between each other, and you can pick up 150 points for one race win, depending on the race format.
Yeah, 150 points is what's on offer for the winner. There is also a couple of bonus points that can come out as well, including bonus points for being the first card across the line with a 0x. Clean driving bonus. However, I would not expect that to be on offer tonight, given the ease of gaining off tracks. So if someone did it, I would stand up and applaud from my seat in my makeshift commentary booth here. And then for the rest of the points, it's 150 for first, 145 for second, 140 for third, so on and so forth. So there's not big gaps in points. Really rewards consistency rather than outright single race win, the point structure, which I think I like. But there's a couple of tracks coming up that are going to be really interesting for the season as well. We're at Imola this week, and then we go to the newest track, one of the newest tracks on the platform, Willow Springs. So a bit of first-time competitive racing there for these drivers. Then off to Winton, Oschersleben, which should be a good track. I've never run it. I don't even think I own it, so I'm going to have to buy it as a commentator. And then we're off to Red Bull Ring, and then we finish the series at Jerez. So will be a very, very interesting race tonight, leading into the second half of our season, with only a couple of 60-minute races to come. And then, of course, the final race is an 80-minute race. Yes. So I'm looking forward to see what comes out tonight, definitely.
100%, mate. I just want to go back to your off track, and you'll give the standing ovation. I'm going to put it to everybody watching the broadcast right now and yourself that if a single driver gets 0 off tracks, we're going to say off tracks tonight, they are instantly awarded driver of the day. How does that sound?
I think it's a factor that we should be putting into driver of the day.
A factor?
A factor. If someone gets a 0x and they hold their position, okay, they had a clean race. If someone gets, a 4x and manages like 4 incident points and they're all for off tracks but makes up 10 places, well, you got to hang it on the line somewhere. And sometimes that means being aggressive on the curbs. That's just the way it's going to be. So
you'll still
we will
your
decide
0x.
that. Yeah, we will decide that at the end of the race. But if anyone in chat does have an interest or someone that they're going to point out, please just put it in chat and let us know. That goes for anyone. If you're supporting anyone, if you think that a move was good, if you think that that the racing's tight, just talk in chat. We love talking to our chat here on broadcast, and it's great to have people chatting live, really getting the most out of the session, out of the race, and out of the league.
100%. Because a lot of you guys are coming forward and have a chat with us. If you're interested in getting into sim racing, especially iRacing, come and get yourself a rig or come chat to us in Discord. And
don't even need a rig.
Yeah. No, you don't need a rig. You just need a computer and a desk. And that'll work.
That'll work. I know plenty of people who have the wheel strapped to the desk. Desk shakes every time they go over a curb, but
that was me not too long ago.
And they make the most out of it. But yeah, even if you go and buy an old G27 off Marketplace, you can still get involved in sim racing. You can still definitely get involved with SRW. And we would love to have you all on board. Our season, most of our series are very full this season, but there's still plenty of seats available. I think there's still plenty of seats available on Thursday nights as well for our Shannon's GR86 Nationals, is there not?
I think that is like the only series that has spots left for the broadcasted events anyway. Otherwise, there still is the Monday night multi-class, which is LMP3s and the Cadillac and BMW, the LMDHs, as well as the Roulette series, which every Wednesday night on Formula 3, we roll a different, we spin a wheel. And there's 8 different cars on there, and that will actually depict what car you guys are going to race on the Thursday night as well. So still spots in Roulette, the Toyota GR86, which is one of our broadcasted series, and of course the Monday mixed class. So definitely come along and get involved. To answer your question, Ray, yes, there is only one drop round for a 9-round series, mate. So they will get one drop round out there. We are heading towards the end of this practice, and we've seen the promo department car hooning around out there, which is actually one sponsor I totally forgot to shout out. We really haven't been seeing too much of the promo department safety car in the V8s anyway. It's been some really good, clean driving from the get-go this season. Alright, we'll be getting this race underway any minute now. This practice session will come to an end. Again, huge shout out to Simrigs.com. Use code SRW5 at checkout and get another discount off your purchases, as well as temptingsweets.com.au. Our driver of the day and winner will be receiving a congratulations package thanks to temptingsweets.com.au. You can use code SRW10 at checkout to get a sweet, sweet deal off those sweet, sweet treats. And then I run out of breath, and I'm going to get some dessert.
Leave it all up to me tonight. Is that the
plan? well, you clearly said on broadcast last week, you're like, I've got some dessert.
Right, I did. I
like,
did,
what?
in fact, say that. I did. The chat, don't worry, there is no dessert tonight. No dessert on this side tonight. So
maybe I'll get myself some dessert from Tempting Sweets. Throw some of those gummy lollies on some ice cream. All right, grid is getting formed up now as we get it up on your screen. Jordan McDonald did take out the racecraft top 10 shootout and secured that racecraft pole position. Scotty Rattler Van Loon will line up next to him on row 2. Tim Nicol, Jason Douglas, on row 1. Tim Nicol and Jason Douglas will be on row 2. Darren Crosby, Mark Horton on row 3. Troy Sipple, Rick Vigor on row 4. And the 2 teammates for race on Oz, Joe Mahoney and Liam Tipping will wound out your top 10. Everybody else on the grid is exactly where they finished in the qualifying session. Travis Daly, Petar Pavlich, Chris Burridge, Matthew Gerard, Craig Healy, Reese DeGoey, Miles Burgess and Travis Nielsen will round out your top 20. We are getting set, ready to race. We got a rolling start.
Oh.
This has just got to be a first corner go, right?
We do have a rolling start.
That is very interesting. News to me.
This is a new one. Right, anyway, we're going to get a rolling start here. This will be a very interesting start for all the drivers. I don't know if they've all practiced rolling starts. I mean, I wouldn't have. I was expecting the session to go normal. So the drivers will hold, maintain their speed, and then when we get to the start-finish line, the lights will go green on control of the lead-up. Everyone's staying double file at the moment. Tuck into the car behind. Maintain your gaps. We're getting ready for a start here. Holding. And the green flag is gone and they're away here at Imola. Rolling start, something new. Gordon McDonald leading into turn 1. A bit of contact there between two Pecky's cars further back in the pack. We've got cars just running off track there. Down into turn 1. Looks like everyone's gotten through nice and cleanly. McDonald leads over Nickel, over Douglas, over Rattler. Big congestion towards the back of the pack here. No cars seem to be off track at the moment. They run through the Villeneuve chicane to start. The first flying lap here. Looks like it's all neat and tidy. A little bit of a squabble still going on in the back of the pack as they slowly get themselves sorted out in the single file. No real big movers and shakers so far, but Jordan McDonald on his SRW debut is leading over Tim Nickel. Everyone getting nice and easy away. It looks like it's Liam Tipping over Joe Marnie for those JTIT Race on Oz cars. Crisscross Racing are further back down the field. So is the Performance Sim Racing drivers there as well, having a battle out the back. They run up to very anti-alta for the first time. See all the drivers stream past here as we finally grab a driver to watch through the chicane here. Run nice and easy lap 1. Tyres still coming up to temperature and pressure. Single file, good battle pack through here as well. Liam Tipping has made up a little bit of ground on Mark Horton through the second half of the lap. Getting himself right on the back. Jordan McDonald hasn't quite been able to run away, but banging in some good lap times. He's banged in a good starting lap. Good start from everyone. A couple of movers on that first lap. We've got, who have we got? We've got Callum Hodgkinson, who's up 4. A couple of drivers who are down 3 include Chris Burridge and Craig Healy there.
Burgess showing the nose to Travis Daly. Tucks it in and will get an early overtake.
That was Degoe. He got past Bruce Degoe on the Commodore.
Oh, yep.
Bruce just runs a little bit deep under brakes and runs off track. So he's going to be slow coming up towards Tozer. Chris Burridge does get past him. Under threat now though from Callum Hodgkinson. Does get past him as well. Travis Nielsen in front of Chris Burridge. Chris just gets a little bit tail happy there. Looked like he had the run out of the corner. It will be a diminishing run though if he was to get it down on the brakes into here.
Matty Gerard
Tipping
has just absolutely eaten it off track and has dropped from P14 down to P25.
P26 now, so fallen through the field. It's a fair off track, I'm guessing. Looks like it basically position's lost. 12 seconds off track, so it's a fair bit of time off track.
Marnie's around.
Everyone seems to have avoided it though. Marnie's still sitting there. In the middle of the corner, everyone having a stream round. Oh, and there's contact with the 73 of Shane Newens in the end. But Joe unfortunately has some damage. We'll have to wait for everyone to go past for him to get back going. I'm going to replay that in a second. We've got crisscross car. Hodgkinson trying to get past Burridge now. It'll be under brakes into turn 1. Keep the nose there. Does keep control side by side through turn 1. Bit of side on side contact there. It does manage to get the move done in the end. 7 cars in a bit of a train here. This is from 15th through to, where are we? Through 22nd at the moment. Good battles going on. Up the front though, Jordan McDonald managed to pull 4/10 on Tim Nickel on that last lap. So Jordan is doing exactly what he needs to do here to maintain his position, to build a gap, put himself in box seat for a good race result here. Decent gap opened up between Douglas and Crosby though, so Nickel and Douglas, they're just going to try and hold on the back of McDonald as best they can, try and get themselves further up through the field. But Joe took looks like he took a fast repair and a pit stop, so he'll be running on a very different strategy. He'll be hoping for a safety car at some stage. Travis Daly as he's dropping through the field as well, Miles Burgess. So it looks like we've got two drivers who have stopped as well on track somewhere. So Miles there running slow. Travis Daly did get past. He's now given Travis Daly the flash, so I wonder if there was something that's happened
redress, I think, mate.
Between them.
Yep. We might have just seen a redress. Great sportsmanship there. Mason Douglas on the back of Mr. Tim Nickel. I want to have a look at these incidents because Mahoney went down. Gerard dropped through the pack to the rear. And of course, looked like that incident between Daly and
is up 11 spots now, up in a 13th, so he's doing a great job driving his way through the field. He's got a bit of a gap to make up to Scott Weston though. In the GMK Logistics car. Chris Burridge is off track. Chris Burridge is falling down the order as well. It looks like that was a bit of a moment. There is a bit of damage to the right front of that car. It looks like it is maybe tracking a little bit off. Lots of damage on the left side, actually. You can see the wheels just pointing out of their socket. Big crease on the bonnet. White under threat from Vigor now. Vigor did get a bit of draft assistance up the main straight. Will duck to the inside. Very close together on the run into turn one. Just enough space left by both drivers. Good racing. Bruce White will have to try again. Oh, gets it all sideways out of turn two. Just trying to make a run there. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get that done. Miles Burgess has got past Brett Taylor. And Miles on a bit of a recovery drive now, trying to get himself back up through the field. I feel like the contact for Joe will be he'll be frustrated that he had to pit so early, but the clean air will do him well. But he needs a safety car to be able to get himself back up through the field. That's where I'm feeling at the moment. Tipping on the back of Crosby now to really close that gap. Gets a good exit out of Aqua Minerale, but has to go the outside for the chicane. He'll be able to get a better run through. Whether or not he can get back underneath on the exit. Good exit there. Running down to Ravazza one. Goes the nose under brakes. Not quite close enough there. Will aim to use the slipstream to his advantage now up towards Tamburello chicane. Crosby gets a good exit. And tipping might be a bit too far back. I think you want to be within about 2/10 when you come onto the straight to really make the most of that slipstream like Rick Vigor did. Brett Taylor going slow. I wonder if he's serving a slowdown through turn one. Through the Variante Alta. And that's why he's dropped back. It was a bit slow. Runs it right up close to the wall. There's not much more you can do there in terms of shortening the run up the pitch straight. Lots of damage on the passenger side, Travis Daly's car. Everyone banging in some decent laps at the moment. Good train formed here behind Craig Healy. At the moment it's still McDonald opening that gap to Douglas. So Nickel, sorry. And then Douglas, Crosby and Tipping still going at it. See a move here from Miles Burgess getting around Reese DeGoey. Now threatening Mark Peck in the Pecky's performance car. It's a good run out of Ravazza, out of the Birrell Tala. will look to the inside. Very difficult to make a move stick there on the entrance to Aqua Minerale. Miles looks like he's got good run here. Again, dives it up the inside. Does he get it pulled up? He does. Makes a very nice clean move. He's very anti-alto, one of the first cars we've seen make a nice overtake there. Tipping, I think, is closer now to make that overtake. Looks like he's going to get that move done. No, not quite. Just looking at the split times, looks like he's just bailed out of it. And Ono does make that move work. It does get past Crosby in the end. Crosby's actually dropping through the field. Then Pollock has apparently crashed. So let's keep our eye on what's happened to him. But that's he's falling a little bit. Travis Nielsen has gone into the pits now, making a pit stop. Back down to this battle for 16. Two PSR cars going to go side by side. Reese decides to just tuck in behind Andrew Cowan. Single file racing going on here. Ooh, Reese just catches a bit of a slide there. Car looks a little bit unstable as he came off the curb with max throttle percentage. Driver will definitely be trying to adjust bars now, try and make the most of the grip they can have available. Miles Burgess on the back of Craig Healy. To his advantage here, stay right in it until the last possible moment, then duck out. Craig defends nicely, gets himself right across to the inside. Won't quite have it under brakes. Miles does better under brakes. He can start to chase down Callum Hodgkinson, his teammate up ahead. Bruce White now coming under threat from Petar Pavlovich. Lots of damage on the right-hand side of that Mustang. Status quo up the front still. And McDonald just opening up that gap nicely in his debut here at SRW. This is the thing that he said he wanted, was a bit of clean air. He didn't know how he would race around other drivers. So he's done exactly what he needs to do. There's no real threat from behind. He can just bang in lap after lap, start to look after his tyres. Doing exactly what he needs to do to capitalise on what he's got. We'll be hoping for no safety cars from here on out so he can get in, do a nice clean pit stop and get back out again. He's probably used to a rolling start in the dirt midget. So, I mean, you knew what to expect. Can you imagine a dirt race starting from a standing start? Mark Peck has crashed. What's happened to Mark Peck? Oh no, he's moving again. It did just come up saying that he'd crashed though, so I wonder if that was maybe contact with Travis Daly, potentially. Jump to a replay now of what's happened to Mark Peck here. Looking for a move into turn 1. Makes contact with Cowie, looks like. So just a little bit of contact there. Just unsettled the rear a bit. So we've got a couple of drivers coming in. So Jordan McDonald has come in after 9 laps. Jason Douglas, Mark Houghton, Bruce White. So 5 drivers in at the moment. I wonder if we're going to see any other drivers duck into the pit lane here. It's an early pit stop though. Only 16 minutes in. So looks like fuel might be a bit tight at the moment. They expect maybe a bit of a fuel save. Second stint. See if you can't extend that out. See where some of these drivers pop out. So Cowie comes out behind Jordan McDonald. So it's 12, so it's 11 spots that Jordan's dropped back. Jason Douglas has come out behind Chris Burridge. So a bit of traffic in between them, but Jordan's actually come out in a decent spot. Craig Healy not too far ahead. Travis Daly is in also. Tim Nicol in. So it looks like they're only going to get about 10 laps out of a fuel load. So we might be looking at a 3-stop working here, which will bring probably Joe Marnie and Marnie Hansen. Sorry, Joe Marnie and Travis Nielsen back into the mix here. Joe probably the better side of it. Lots of drivers in now. 1st to 8th all in the pit lane. Hodgkinson in, Burgess in. Looks like this is the critical stop time for everyone. So McDonald surges back to the front of the pack. Cowan has done well to use his fuel that little to put himself up into 2nd at the moment. I wonder if Cowie's hoping for that, for a 2-stop strategy to work. We'll have to keep our eye on if there's any fuel save from all the drivers, because you're still short. You're still going to be short of making it on only 2 stops. I'm expecting there to be a 3-stop strategy here. I think the best strategy, if we do get a safety car, you wouldn't pit now unless you haven't pit. Yeah, so you can hear Cowie there, right on the clutch, trying to extend his fuel load. Even by another lap will be good for him. The only driver not to have pitted so far. Lots of clutch usage. Oh, lots of clutch, but unfortunately couldn't get the car stopped in time, so just lost the rear a little bit under brakes. I'd be expecting him in this lap. There's not much more to gain, I wouldn't think. It's still going to be tight, though, on 2 stops for him, unless he can get good fuel save through this next stint. Yeah, so in. Releases Jason Douglas, Tim Nicol. See where Cowie does pop out. as a result of this pit stop. We'll be expecting a longer stop here, probably around the 21-second mark or so. Oh no, he's moving again after only 19 seconds in the box. So Rick Vigor getting around Padar Pavlovich there. P9 at the moment. Scott Weston right up behind him. Not much space there for Qatar to get through. Qatar gets a good run out of Aqua Minerale, has to go to the outside for Variante Alta, gets right under the rear wing of that Mustang of Rick Vigor. Can't quite get the exit he needs to be able to capitalise. But I dare say that he'll send it under brakes here, try and get as close as he can to the back of Rick through the Ravatsas here. Tyre smoke in front probably from Troy Sickle. Qatar, I don't think will be quite close enough to make a move down into turn 1 with the slipstream. Joe Marnie has come into the pit, so yeah, so it looks like only 10 laps to a stint, so feel like Joe is definitely on the wrong side of strategy here. He'll be hoping for a safety car to get himself back in contention. He'll be hoping that safety car comes after the cars around him have pit. Very good battle pack here. Oh, Travis Daly looked like he was going to block Cowie there. Teammates. Travis Nielsen at the moment. Craig Healy, that Mustang looking threatening. Travis at the moment doing enough though to keep Craig behind. Travis Daly looking to try and make a move on Craig Healy, showing the nose. Will compromise him though relative to Cowie, who's lost out to Hansen, and Reese to go. He gets past him whilst he's fishtailing sideways. Reese decides to tuck back in though. Cowie lost a spot as a result of trying to capitalise on Daly, looking threatening. Hansen looking for a move on Daly now. Oh, and Travis Nielsen's run deep at Ravatsa 1. The pressure unfortunately got to him, locked the brake. Couldn't quite get the car turned in and ended up losing 5 spots. Maybe even 7 spots as a result of that little error. McDonald has stretched out to a 10-second lead. No one in the picture yet. Still no one in the picture, so he's got a rear view clean of any cars. Eyes forward for Jordan McDonald at the moment, driving his way to a commanding lead in this race so far. Jason Douglas and Tim Nicol back battling again. Tim putting pressure on the back of Jason. Tim looking to get the exit. Here, trying to use the slipstream to his advantage. He might be right on the edge of what's close enough with the slipstream to get a move done into turn 1. Jason will be wise to it and will look to try and go defensive. Doesn't quite close the door. It invites Tim Nicol to send the car up the inside. We're going to go side by side into turn 1. Jason just decides to bail out. Decides he'll have a better run at him, maybe into the Villeneuve chicane up here. I don't think we'll be close enough. Rearward for Daly and Healy going at it now. Daly looking to make the move around the outside, will get that done. I think that Craig Healy just decided it was better for him to sit in behind. Pavlovich has run wide. Probably just sitting a bit too close to the car behind. And unfortunately, couldn't quite get on it as best as he would have liked. So he's lost 2 positions as a result of that. So he's just maybe a bit of frustration creeping in. He's get his head down and try and catch back up to the back of Bruce White. On for P6 at the moment between Crosby and Sipple as we jump to that battle now. Gains under brakes on Crosby. Travis Nielsen has come into the pits now. His second pit stop of the race. Troy just pushed it a little bit hard on the brakes there. Lose out a little bit of time relative to Crosby. Might be able to make it back up under brakes here into Aqua Minerale. Does get right back under the rear wing of that Mustang of Crosby. His aim here has to be to try and stay behind him, try and maximise his run through Ravazza. Oh, that's a car very deep. That will be Bruce White, I think, who has run very, very deep indeed into Ravazza 1. I wonder maybe if he grabbed the grass under brakes. We're going to replay of it here to see what happens. So Bruce White here just brakes a bit too late, misses his braking mark, decides to go inside of the Ravazza 1 curb to try and avoid contact, and does very well, in fact, to have missed the wall on the outside of the track. Avoid any damage or any damage to any other drivers. We're getting on board here yet, so he's out of control of the car. Might not have been his immediate choice, but does take to the escape road, and I'll tell you what, he's done very well there. Keep it off the wall and rejoin safely on the outside of the corner to avoid any contact. We've got Reese DeGoey coming into the pits now. Sort of expecting drivers to pit in the next next 2 laps or so. So Reese here gets in and out. Only a 12-second pit stop for him, so not a long one by any stretch of the imagination. Jordan McDonald here. Do we see him coming to the pit lane? No, he's going to go around again. One of the early stoppers in that last stint, so maybe he's just decided that he needs to do some fuel save to get himself closer to that mark. 30 minutes into the race, it looks like they're going to be thirsty on fuel. Tipping is in. Tipping, I think, stopped on lap 10 last time as well, so this is another early stop by one of our competitors. Didn't expect to see anyone else pit anytime soon. Tim Nicol hasn't been able to get away from Douglas, so I wonder if he's just using that clean air, using that to his advantage, whilst also having not as much of a threat from behind. Just trying to save some fuel. Maybe they're both in a bit of a fuel save mode at the moment. Just trying to stretch out an extra lap or so. Because an extra lap will certainly help them come the end of the race. Jason there heavy on the brakes and just had to catch a bit of a slide. Pinch the rears ever so slightly. Corey Sipple still on the back of Darren Crosby here. Lots of drivers off track. So Shane Ewan's had a bit of a moment. So Cowie's gone off track here. What's this for? So he's just run deep into the corner. Oh, and he's hit the wall hard. That's big contact for Cowie. And Shane Ewans, who was off track at the time, and I just saw Cowie get past and lots of drivers off track. Jordan McDonald had gone off track as well. So Shane Ewan's here. Oh no. So Shane had locked, was just giving way to Jordan McDonald, and unfortunately went off track, jammed the brakes on. I think Jordan had to take evasive action there. Jordan himself ran deep. As everyone comes into the pits now. So Jordan back out now. Douglas on pit exit. Tipping has managed to get himself up now behind Jason Douglas. Tim Nicol has stayed out though. So Tim Nicol here looking to try and capitalise. We've got the top 6 haven't stopped yet. Callan Hodgkinson in behind. Donald, not quite in behind, but close. Everyone coming into the pits now, which is short still of that 2-stop strategy that we'd expect. Tim probably sitting in a better spot for a short fill at the end, but whether or not he can make up that margin that McDonald had earlier on, we'll have to wait and see. The Tipping going to try and challenge Douglas here. The undercut has worked for Tipping. Only a 1-lap undercut has got himself right back behind. Pavlovich now having a battle with Scott Weston. Battling for 5th at the moment, but so Tim Nicol's come in. We'd be expecting Troy Sipple and Scotty Rattler to come in as well. 3 out of the 4 Pecky's cars should be coming to pit lane. Rattler stayed out. So Rattler has managed to get an extra lap of fuel there. I think the story so far has been fuel save has actually been very important. The longer you can get out of your stint, the better you'll be towards the end of the race in terms of a short fill. But whether or not that accounts to time gain in the end, but I'm still thinking that it's going to be a 3-stop. Everyone's stopping too early, and there's no tip of a safety car yet. I would have thought that if Cowan had a lot of damage, we would have seen a safety car then, but Cowie was our longest runner on that last stint of 11 laps. top 3 are yet to pit. So Tim Nicol has stayed in front of Jason Douglas. Jason's under threat from Liam Tipping. Gordon McDonald at the moment is losing time, being in behind Pavlovich. It shouldn't be too much of a threat though, because he should be able to get into the pit lane. Back out again before he loses. Sorry, Petr should be pitting this lap, I would think. Burridge, Vigor and Burgess here. Burgess looking for a massive run. That's an enormous run. It manages to take 2 spots in the short little straight between Aquaminerale and Variante Alta. See what's happened here. So gets a very good exit. Rick unfortunately has nowhere to go. Burridge can't cover all the way. And Vigor is actually going to get past Burridge as well. So I wonder if Burridge might have picked up a slowdown at some stage and it was trying to serve it at the same time. The 5 cars in the pits at the moment. Dowie there, still running in 8th spot, but again, still has to pit. No, he's expecting him to be in the pits this lap. He comes back around. Still not letting up. Commodore Douglas ahead of him. Jason's just run a little bit deep in the mid-corner. Seems to have gotten a good exit though. Out of Ravazza 2. Can't quite get him behind for the slipstream. Might be hoping for a bit of side draft. Got his nose up the inside enough. So he can be more aggressive under brakes. Looks like Liam's just going to tuck him behind. Oh, a bit of contact there. Just not quite clear to tuck him behind Jason. Liam now looking to go up the inside on the entrance to Villeneuve chicane. Brakes later. Gets it in there. Jason's still there. Side by side racing at the moment. A little scrape through the first chicane. Liam at the moment has that move done. Jason won't give it up though. We know how hard Jason has raced over the last couple of weeks. He'll be hoping to make a move. See Pavlovich trying to hang it around the outside with Weston. And Douglas battling on that last lap. They lost 2 seconds to Tim Nicol in front. Cowan is coming to the pits now, so he does get another 11-lap stint through. I'm guessing he's going to take his fast repair, try and return those tyres to the way they were. Doesn't look like he's taken it. Maybe he'd already taken it. Joe Marnie's come in as well, so he hasn't been able to get more than 10 laps out of his stint either. I think Joe now is really hoping for a safety car. Give himself some people to catch. Douglas hasn't been able to get past tipping. Mark Horton running in 5th at the moment, up the 1 spot from where he qualified. And a good run in the top 10 shootout, starting 6th in the end. Roy Sipple. Also up a spot in 6th. Scott Rattler and Miles Burgess. Some nice close battle here for 7th. Miles is up 11 spots. And Scotty Rattler is down 5. Started off the front row. Shuffled through a little bit after the start. Of course, if you don't remember, we did have a rolling start for this race, which I think may have been a little bit in error, but it's been a very clean start to this race. No real big damage, any big crashes to talk about so far. I'm touching wood on my desk that we don't get any more. I think there's a couple of drivers we'll be hoping. Pavlovich looking up the inside of Weston. Weston's going to hang it there. Weston gets bounced onto the curb there. I think Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton back in 2021, I think, down into turn 1. Oh, and Pavlovich has run wide. He's going to invite Weston in. Weston decides to go the wide line, try and take a late apex. Try and drive it out the corner. Gets a good run. Gap is closing. Powder just driving his line, making Scott Weston make the move. And Douglas still nice and close. Yeah, for P3. I think Tim Nicol might have been working his way through a little bit of traffic last lap. Well, there's no traffic between them, so maybe Tim just had a little bit of a slow lap. To the front again. And McDonald's eked out an 11-second lead at the moment. He's running very nicely there in P1. No threat from behind at all. Just focus on his race. Focus on getting good lap times in. So Tipping is now in the pits. So this seems like an early pit stop. This might be a bit of the undercut. So I think based on his previous stint, this does seem like a short, very early pit stop. But it might be the limit of what he can do to get home. So he does make it a 3-stop race. Miles Burgess is also in, so is Petar Pavlovic. So some drivers now going, this is critical lap. This is when I can stop and make it home. He gets out. Hodgkinson was barreling up behind him. I think Tipping's come out in a decent spot. A little bit of lap traffic in front, and I think that's Ben Pollock who's in front of him. Lap traffic's been past, but should be okay. Burgess out as well. Reece DeGoey and Brett Taylor are also in. There's Ben Pollock just giving way to the traffic behind. Tim Nicol is now in as well. So wants to cover off on the threat of an undercut here from Tipping. Tipping's stop was only a 15-second stop. So is Jason Douglas. So Jason Douglas is in as well. So he's probably one that was not hoping, is trying to really cover off the threat of an undercut. Maybe he's trying to get in and out before Liam Tipping can catch them. Liam Tipping not too far away from pit in. So we'll see where Nicol pops out. He has popped out with enough lead. Tipping barreling down into turn 1. Douglas alongside him. Douglas can't cover him off. So the early stop for Tipping has worked. Just covered off enough from Jason Douglas. He's actually eked that gap out a little bit through that sequence as well. They were only 3/10 apart before they came into the pit lane, and he's managed to find himself an extra 7/10 or so. Just needs to drive it nice and smooth now. We've got Weston in between Nicol and Tipping. And of course, Weston still needs to pit as well. Expecting to see Jordan McDonald in at the end of this lap. Here he is, coming into the pit lane now. Running down the pit lane at I think it's 80 k's an hour, this pit lane. Pops it on the marks, slides it into the box. Troy Sipple, either this lap or the next for him. Does come into the pits this lap. Rick Vigor also coming in. Leaves Scotty Rattler Van Loon out. Jordan McDonald comes out. Pretty safe gap. Scott Rattler. Of course, Rattler still needs to pit. So effective lead is still Jordan McDonald. Effective and overall race lead is still Jordan McDonald. Effective P2, Tim Nicol. He's got 8 seconds over Liam Tipping. And then Jason Douglas has closed the gap back up to Liam. That's back down to 3/10 of a second. These two will keep battling all the way to the flag at the moment. Of course, a podium spot is on the off-in. Tipping has just locked up and had to take a lot of curb. He's going to invite Jason Douglas in. Jason going to try and look for the undercut here. Gets a great exit. There's a bit of a bump on the exit of the corner. No harm, no foul, boys. Race on. Almost looked like more contact there. Jason doing everything he can to try and get up the inside. With Liam tipping at the moment, trying to put himself back on the podium. Joe Marnie has had to come in, so that's going to be a 4-stop for him. Carl Hodgkinson on the back of Burridge. Run up. Oh, lots of grass for Burridge. And he spun out. Luckily has kept it off the wall, although there will be some flat spots on those tyres. He is due to come into the pits though. Last stopped on lap 20. Scotty Rattler in the pits now, so that releases Liam Tipping and Jason Douglas. Got Rattler only there to the 10-second pit stop. Where does this put him out? Probably put him out in front of Rick Vigor in the end. Rick barreling down into turn 1. Rick will get past him on the exit. Scotty will have the fresher tyres, so I can try and make a charge now. Yeah, so Chris Burridge does come in the end from P15. The GMK Logistics cars here in Healy and Hanson. Battle between teammates for P15. Now, if Cowie has got enough fuel and if he's done enough save to make it home from here, he would have made up 14 positions throughout this race. So that will be an excellent drive. But if he does have to pit again, it will be a fair chunk of positions lost for him. I'll probably put him down towards Chris Burridge and Joe Marnie. We see Douglas here looking for a move on Tipping. Tipping doesn't give him the inside. No space there. Tipping at the moment is doing what he can to try and keep Jason Douglas behind him. Jason goes for the dive up the inside. Late move. Liam just gets the rear a little bit squirrely. Both of them do, in fact. And Liam manages to hold on. It was a late move. Show the nose from Jason there. Jason doing everything he can, hounding the back of Liam Tipping at the moment for the final spot on the podium with only 6 minutes left in this race. Miles Burgess has just banged in the fastest lap of the race last lap of a 44.06. A 44 flat, which was faster than what Jordan McDonald did in the top 10 shootout. Which goes to show that the track has really come alive here. Liam Tipping just trying to break the draft a bit. Oh, Jason just gets on the grass. Liam's locked up. He's sending it deep into the corner and he's come undone and gone off track. That will release Jason Douglas into P3. Unfortunately, Liam just was a bit offline, had to jam on a lot more brake than he thought to get the car pulled up with less grip. We jump to our current fastest lap holder. With Miles Burgess of 44.062. Dan Newlan's coming into the pits here for his third pit stop. Scotty Van Loon's coming in as well. Wonder if Scotty Rattler Van Loon can't make it to the end. His last lap was a 57.5 though, so Seems like quite a slow lap, so unless he's gone off track somewhere. Not sure what's happened there. I'll have to keep an eye on that one for you because I'm not sure. He came in. So Scotty Rattler Van Loon had entered the pits 53 minutes and 15 seconds into the race. You see Marnie and DeGoey here going at it. Marnie trying to recover what he can from that spin at Rabatza 1 early on. Running side by side with Reese. No jams on the brakes. We'll get that move done down into turn 1. Yeah, looking at what's happened to Scotty Rattler. It's a 50-second pit stop he's just had. He entered the pits 53 minutes and 15 seconds into the race. At a 41-second transit time, which is okay, and then he's had to come back in. 50-second pit stop. So I wonder if that's maybe a stop and hold for speeding in the pit lane or something like that, because 42 seconds plus the time for a stop might be what he's had to serve. Would also be incident points. No, it wouldn't be incident points. He's only had 4 counted against him, so I think it might be a pit lane exit issue. Pavlovich and Weston here battle for P9. Over 2 minutes left in this race. It should be 2 more laps. John McDonald. Just coming up the start-finish line now in the black number 3 car. Yeah, so should see 2 more laps here. Oh, Richard Weston still going at it. Pavlovich had lost 9/10 relative to Scott Weston on that last lap alone. And now Scott's got right under the rear wing. Might get draft assistance here if we can get a good exit out of Rabatza 1 and Rabatza 2. Nah, just lights up the rears a little bit on exit, so unfortunately won't be able to get as much draft assistance as he'd like. Rattling now. So he has spun and hit the wall. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was damage. I think that might be a separate incident. That one. That's why he's fallen even further back. Oh, big crash there. We've got Tipping and Douglas going side by side though. I'll have to go back and have a look at what happened to Mark. Yeah, to Mark Houghton, I think it was in the end. Oh, Tipping and Douglas, they're going at it. We're on the white flag lap. We should be. White flag message comes up for us. One more lap for these two to settle who's going to finish where. Tipping has managed to get past Douglas in the end, but Douglas is now coming back. He's going to have to go a long way around the outside down into turn 1. There's a car exiting the pit lane. There's a bit of contact Tipping doesn't give him much room. It's side by side. There's contact, and Tipping has spun out. Oh, and he makes contact with Ben Pollock, I think, in the end, which unfortunately has given damage to both cars. Race control will be having a look at that one, I'm sure. Tipping just wanted to get going again, try and catch back up. And unfortunately, Ben Pollock had nowhere to go. Made a hefty bit of contact. You see what happened to Mark Horton here. Just gets off the curb slightly. Unfortunate. Bang! Big hit. That'll be a lot of damage to the rear of his car. A lot of damage on that left rear you can see, and the right front, and left front as well. That car will be tracking horribly. You can see him just testing out what he's got underneath him. You see the replay, what's happened here with Jason Douglas. So a bit of contact there. Not sure where Jason could have gone. They're running side by side, making it 3 wide with another car. And Pavlovich and Weston still going at it. We see Jordan McDonnell on debut, comes across to take his first win for in SRW. Tim Nicol will come across in P2, up 1 position in the end. Jason Douglas will hold on for P3 across the line. There are a few question marks about what happened with him and Liam Tipping that will be resolved post-race. Miles Burgess, best mover of the night, up 15 positions into P4. Sipple. Oh, and Miles giving us his best impression there of a sideways drift off the curb. Sipple holds out over Tipping. Vigor, Pavlovich holds out over Weston in the end. It looks like someone has fallen through. Oh, Houghton has fallen through as well. So White comes across to finish P10. He's up 5 spots. Mark Horton, P11. Healy will hold out over Hodgkinson and Hansen in the end. 12, 13 and 14 respectively. Very close on the line. Hansen just missed out by 3/10. No, 300ths, I should say. Crosby, Taylor, Peck. Peck just missing out on Taylor by 2/10 in the end. So lots of close runs to the line. Marnie Combs home in P18. Cowan, P19 after he tried to extend out and unfortunately had to make that 3rd pit stop late on in the race with only a couple of laps to go. Jagoe, Burridge, Gerard. Scotty Rattler, Travis Nielsen, Shane Newens and Ben Pollock. With Travis Daly finishing the race. He's in the pits now, but he only did 27 laps or so I think he might have called it. But Jordan McDonnell runs his way to the start-finish line. A win on debut. We saw it with Tipping last season at Nürburgring. And Jordan has done a great job. Tips it in early. Celebrates over the start-finish line. Barney will be happy with that one. Waving his checkered flag everywhere. Won't need those rear tyres anytime soon. Don't hit the other car. Don't hit the other car. Oh. Anyway, he's doing a nice job to keep it in one spot. Giving some stoppies in the end there. Very nice job from all drivers involved for getting that result there. Tim getting himself another spot on the podium tonight. Follows up his race win last week. Oh, it just keeps it off the wall as well. So these are good burnouts from everyone. A great result for Jordan McDonald there, coming home in P1 in the end, holding out, finishing 12.1 seconds ahead of Tim Nicol. Jason Douglas comes home in P3 for LMR Esports. Miles Burgess in P4. I'll be putting him forward for my driver of the day. Up 15 positions into P4. Good haul of points for him. Troy Sipple, Liam Tipping. He'll be frustrated, I'm sure, with what happened down in the turn 1 on the final lap of the race. Rick Vigor, Petar Pavlovic, Scott Weston and Bruce White round out the top 10 with Mark Horton, Craig Healy, Callum Hodgkinson, Marty Hansen for GMK Logistics, Darren Crosby, Brett Taylor, Mark Peck, Joe Marnie, Andrew Cowan and Reece DeGoey in 19 and 20. We look further through the field. Chris Burridge comes home in 21. Matthew Gerard, Scotty Rattler Van Loon, who I think had to make another pit stop with the damage and everything like that. Travis Nielsen, Shane Newens, Ben Pollock, and Travis Daly finish up the grid with Tyson McAvoy and Daniel Fritz, our race directors tonight and safety car drivers. So thank you both to them for the thankless job that they had to do. But we will jump to our podium getters. I'll jump into the Discord now and we'll be able to put them into our green room and ask them what they thought of the race. We'll start off with Jason Douglas, who finished in P3. Jason, mate, well done on tonight. Well done on finishing on the podium yet again. It was a good race. It was a strong battle, though, with Liam towards the end.
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
We saw you having a good battle all the way through with Tim Nicol as well, and you were always running up towards the front after that rolling start. What did you think of the rolling start? Was it something a bit different?
Yeah, it was a bit different, but also pretty good because you don't have to wheel spin off the start. You can just put the throttle down and off you go.
It's probably a bit different though, especially more time running before the green flag drops. It certainly made it interesting at being a 3-stop race.
Yeah, it was. I actually liked the 3-stop race, especially with I think it was 10 laps remaining or whatever it was after we pitted. It actually made it interesting to see when other people would pit and try and go with them if they're up front and stay with them, sort of thing. So it was sort of a pit strategy. Do I stay out or do I continue?
Were you marginal on fuel at all, or were you pretty okay and you were just sort of thinking, what's the latest I can pit for that last stop? Was it just see what happens, or were you a little bit marginal?
I had 3 laps of fuel left coming into the last stop, last stint for the stop. I waited until it come down to about 1.3, I think it was, before I pitted, and that was around about where the leader was. So I would duck in and go with him, but Tim continued for one more lap, which I probably should have done, stayed out, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, mate. Well, we're off to Willow Springs next week, and I think this will be a standard answer, but you haven't done much running around Willow Springs, have you?
Haven't even got the track. So
one of the new tracks, so we will see what it's like for racing, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll have to jinx Dad that's behind me to buy it, but no, he'll be right. He'll say, "Oh, go buy it." He'll be right.
All right, mate. Well, I'll give you a chance to thank you and all of LMR Esports sponsors.
So thank you. So we got Logic Bros, Dubby, NZ Performance, Wayne Boiler Mechanical, Lutsu Driver Performance, Oak Meters, Majors Garage, JM Designs, and all the boys at LMR. And thanks for Jet for helping me to get to here. So yeah.
Nice job, mate. Well done tonight. And we'll hope to see you next week on track on a new track that not many people will own, I'm sure.
Yeah, not really looking for the long race with the top 10 shootout again, but it is what it is. So hopefully make the top 10 for the next one. So yeah.
After this one, then we've got a sprint and a super sprint round, and then we've got a normal and an enduro to follow. So only 5 rounds left. You've done what you need to do to keep yourself in the championship fight tonight. So we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, I hope so, and I can't wait to get into sprint racing, into this hour racing. So
all right, mate. Yeah. Well, good luck during the week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you Thursday night and Sunday night.
Might not see me, but you'll definitely see ShiBBy.
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Catch you, mate.
All right, see ya.
Alrighty, we'll get Tim Nicol in here now, finishing on the podium yet again tonight. Tim, mate, well done on getting another podium result tonight. You're doing exactly what you need to do to keep yourself in this championship fight, eh?
Thanks, boys. Yes, I was a bit blown away when we had a new runner, Jordan, come in and he was fast in practice. I was like, what are the owners of the league trying to do to me? Like, but it was good. It's good to have a bit of combo. I don't know where Joe was, but Jace Douglas, good little battle with him.
Yeah, it was good earlier on in that race. And then you got past him, and then we're able to just eke out a little bit of a gap, get yourself a little bit of safety in the end, and then it's kind of seemed like you ran your own race.
It was
once you're alone.
Yeah, it was a little bit quiet there, and some of the boys in the Discord that we've got a bit of a mixed bunch from a few different teams in our Discord, and they were like, no, you can do it like end to end with 2 stops, and I'm like, I looked at fuels, and I'm like, no, you can't, because I drove a full tank out in the first stop, which didn't really need to do. Could have come in when Jace and Jordan came in, but Jordan was just too quick. Jace, I wasn't sure what's happening. I think he ended up falling back with Liam, and that was him battling with him. Just does slow you down.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think they dropped to about 8 seconds or so towards the back end of that third stint. I wasn't expecting a 3-stop race, to be honest. I didn't think that fuel burn was that much, and that the fuel load was that tight. We saw Cowie was doing a lot more save than anyone else, and only managed 11 laps to a stint. So it turned out that not even he could make it home. He had to stop with 2 laps to go. Unfortunately, trying to make it home on 3 stops.
Good.
Next week, we're off to to Willow Springs.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Haven't even looked at what the track looks like. Sounds really, I don't know, Willow Springs.
It's
cute, isn't it?
It is cute. It's one of those Californian or Nevada tracks or something. I remember first playing it on what was it, Need for Speed Pro Street or something like that, and it just had all these old tracks on it, and I was like, what is Willow Springs? But it looks like a picturesque track for sure.
Yeah, we're down in Willow Springs this next week. Gotta get my chewing tobacco out. But now, good night tonight. Yeah, thanks, guys. Did an amazing job as usual.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll give you a chance to thank all of those Quantum Pecky sponsors.
Yes, no, I will do. Thank you. Yeah, obviously, Troy from Quantum Tint, and yes, we do need to line one of yous up with some tinting or at least some discount. And I've had a chat to Sips, and he's keen for it, so we'll exchange some numbers and have a convo. Mark from Pecky's Performance, Dan, who has gone a little bit AWOL at the moment. I think he's following his brother in the Aussie basketball, wheelchair basketball, but from West Oz Roof Restorations, that weirdo that takes photos from Tim Nicol Photography. But yeah, well done to the podium. Thanks to you guys, Race Control, owners of the league, the other racers. Had a blast as usual. Thanks, wife, for holding dinner for me. Now I'll go and have something to eat.
Definitely do that, mate. I can't believe you raced on an empty stomach.
Yeah, it's all good. I might have snuck one piece of pizza in between.
on the run up the straight, just in between gear changes, just have a chomp.
Not quite. In between the top 10 and the race start, quickly into the kitchen and little mini pizzas. You can't beat them.
No, you definitely can't. All right, mate. We'll see you hopefully next week at Willow Springs, and maybe you can give us a track guide during the lead up or something like that. Once you've got your head around the track, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, it'll be a bit of fun. Don't know what we're going to do for setup, but hey, we'll work something out. Try about 20 different sets and find one that works.
It looks like a bit of a flowing track with a little bit of elevation, so you might find some use in maybe it does look bumpy though, so you might have to tune like a Interlagos setup maybe. Yeah. Maybe that's something you can try.
Might go to my Rodskin go-to. We'll see. All right, no worries, guys. Thank you.
All right, mate. Good job tonight.
Cheers. Have a good one.
You too, mate. Bye. All right, and we'll get our debut winner and your Simrigs.com V8 Supercars AM Series winner for round 4, Jordan McDonald. Mate, well done, winning on debut and taking a clean sweep this evening.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised of the race pace there. I thought I was going to be having my hands full with the other fellas, but we just managed to get a gap early, which was, I think, important for my nerves, just to make sure I had a gap. And then, just kind of controlled the pace from there. And a few of the boys in my team were saying that guys are fuel saving and stuff. And I'm like, how do I do this? I put leaders in my midget and just hammered down for 40 laps. I don't know how to fuel save. So we just, we had to figure that out. And we're all panicking, trying to make sure we had enough fuel to get to the end in the 3-stop. And, big thanks to Nate and Jaden for helping me out there.
Yeah, well, mate, you did. I reckon you got lucky with a rolling start. Would I suggest?
I would say it's something I'm familiar with. we don't do standing starts in speedways, so it certainly. I don't know if it helped or whatever. I don't know where the green goes on any of these tracks at all. So with the speedway, you kind of have an idea because you've done so many races on it. You can kind of predict it, but I just first gear, and as soon as the green come up, I just went foot flat, and got a decent launch there. So it would have been good to do a standing start. Obviously, that's kind of what the supercars are all about, and most road racing, that's what you do. So it would have been good for a standing start and test that side of the things. But it was cool.
Yeah, I would imagine it should have been a standing start. It might have just been a little bit in error when they were setting up the server that it ended up being a rolling start. But I definitely feel like if it was a standing start, it might have made things a little bit more interesting off the front row. You managed to get that start nice and take the lead down into turn 1 with not too much threat, and then you just drove away from there. How much... Sorry, I was going to ask you earlier because I noticed I heard that you said you did some real life racing, and was wondering how much you've done and how long you've been speedwaying for and all that sort of thing.
So over here we have 2 classes of midgets. So we've got, or speed cars as you guys call them in Australia. So we've got F2 midgets, which are a 2-litre midget car. Everything in them is the same except they run a production motor. So with that, they obviously get heavily modified internally, and then everyone gets a restrictor on the intake, which makes them fairly even. You obviously got guys that spend more money and develop the motor around the restrictors, and then you got guys that just build a hot rod motor and then just throw restrictors in it and don't care. Just did 2 seasons of that, and just finished my second season in a full midget, like speed cars, which is like the main class in America and Australia and that. So it's been good. We had a podium at the last round that we did at Wakaraka, and kind of there or thereabouts on any given night, just obviously still learning and stuff. It's completely different than what you would drive on the road and whatnot. So there's a lot of technique and just finding some balls to run it by the concrete wide open is probably the biggest thing that I started to figure out towards the end of the year. But yeah, it's good. It's stiff competition, you know, racing Michael Pickens. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but you know, we have the Americans come down every season, so that was my first time racing against them, and they certainly up everyone's confidence and ability while they're here, because they just bring such an aggressive nature of driving, and they're just fast. You know, they do 100 races a year, and we only get to do about 20 to 25. So, you know, they basically do 4 years of racing over here in one. So you're trying to play catch up, but also it's a good way to kind of test yourself and kind of see where you're at in terms of driving. So yeah, it's good.
Right, mate. Well, that's I think there's not many people who do the same, who do a bit of real life racing, but there are quite a few in the server. One of them is I believe ShiBBy might be able to correct me, but Jason Douglas does do a bit of real life racing as well. So plenty of guys are keen to transfer some sim racing skills into the real world. Do you do much of the dirt oval stuff on iRacing, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Well, actually, I started off before I even got into the real one, like on iRacing. I kind of learned the racecraft and how the tracks develop and stuff through the iRacing midget. Probably did like 2 years or maybe even 3. Just basically, as soon as the midgets come out, as soon as dirt come out, I signed up to iRacing and yeah, just kind of honed my skills on there, and then got the opportunity financially with my dad to kind of go out and, you know, venture into the real thing. Obviously, it's super expensive. You know, like we had one crash last year and it was 15 grand to fix it. So it's definitely expensive, and I wish it was a lot more affordable, because, you know, the iRacing, the talent on here, and I know there's a lot of real life guys that do it professionally, whether it be Kyle Larson or whatever. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but, you know, there's a lot of guys on here that, given the opportunity financially, I'm sure they could do great things in the real world. But, you know, motorsport's not cheap. So you kind of got to be either born into a family that's already racing, or be fortunate enough to kind of get that opportunity, you know?
Yeah, mate. I think sim racing is a great avenue for people to get interested in real life motorsport, but it's the avenue that most people take to get the fun and enjoyment out of driving a car, where they don't have to worry about fixing it or getting sponsors to run it or whatever. They just have to have enough to be able to pay the iRacing annual membership fee and the housing deposit to put down to buy all the cars and tracks. But look, it's I'm certainly very keen to get into a bit of real life driving, even if it's just track days and that sort of thing. But the moment I get my fix through sim racing, and definitely the enjoyment out of commentating on guys like yourself coming into a series and just doing the best job that they can, and having some fun in the process. I know we got you to thank your sponsors earlier, but we'll ask you to thank them again and give them a shout out. And yeah, so well done again, mate.
Yeah, thanks. Obviously, big thanks to all the boys at Maverick Sim Sports, Sim Blacks, the Adrenaline race cameras, Titan Hire, trying to think, Newports, and basically everyone that's kind of helped me out in the last couple of weeks, just kind of getting my head around the supercar. I blew the motor up doing burnouts at the end of the race, so I'd like to send the bill to my dad. It'd be probably 100 grand virtual money. But yeah, so just big thanks to those guys, and thanks to you for doing the stream, and actually a big thanks to SRW for even letting me into the league. They were the only ones in the Australasia series that I kind of asked and got accepted into, so appreciate that. And yeah, I look forward to next week.
Definitely, mate. We're off to Willow Springs next week, so hopefully you can get some practice in on that track. I think everyone will be in the same boat, trying to learn a new track and everything in cars that have probably never raced around there. I don't even think officials have been there yet, so it should be very interesting to see how you all go.
Yeah, I think Willow Springs, the only time I've seen it's in that Ford versus Ferrari movie, so by the looks of it, I think it's pretty pretty sweepy, so it's definitely going to test me, I suppose. But yeah, no, it should be cool. I'm going to have to fork out, $24 or something now. So buy a new track. Yeah, it's going to make me broke.
You'll get some use out of it. I think the week after next, it is in officials. So you'll get some use out of it if you want to keep practicing the supercars. And I'm very much looking forward to see how you go next week on a bit of a neutral playing field for everyone.
Yeah, no, it should be cool. Thanks, boys.
All right, well done again, mate. Welcome to SRW, and well done on getting your debut win and your debut start.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
All right, and that wraps up tonight's proceedings. Jordan McDonald does come home the winner on his debut start for Maverick Sim Sports over Tim Nicol and Jason Douglas for your podium. I know that ShiBBy will, I'm sure, have his input, but I'm going to put the formalities of the Tempting Sweets driver of the day down to Miles Burgess. He made up, I think it was 15 spots in the end to finish in P4. So good, very solid haul of points for Chris Cross there. Troy Sipple comes home in P5 over Liam Tipping, Rick Vigor, Padar Pavlovich, Scott Weston and Bruce White round out the top 10. Some names are further down the order that we would have expected to see further up, including Darren Crosby, Joe Marnie and Andrew Cowan down in 19th position there. So probably not the race night for the PSR boys that they would have hoped, but I'm sure they'll be back with a vengeance next week at Willow Springs. Take this opportunity now to thank all of our sponsors, Simrigs.com, of course, sponsoring our V8 Supercars AM and Supercars Pro-Am series coming up for you on Sunday nights. Warren & Brown Tools for being our round sponsor every week in the Supercars AM series. Who else have we got? We've got the promo department for the promo department safety car. Shannon's, who are also sponsoring our F3s and our GR86s. Of course, tomorrow night we do have our Formula 3 Pro-Am series coming to you. I can't remember what track it's at, but they'll be live tomorrow night. I think Hamish is the broadcaster tomorrow night, so you'll hear his lovely tones on broadcast. And then Thursday night, of course, the Shannon's GR86 Nationals with ShiBBy and might be Greeny. I'm not 100% sure who will be commentating that one on Thursday night. Who else have I forgotten? Dragon RC, Grim Industries, the home of the V8 coffee table, and also our manufacturers for our trophies for last season, which were great looking trophies. They were really classy. And I'm sure that ShiBBy will remind me of any others that I have forgotten. Rocket Unlimited, yes, for all the music you heard during the stream this evening. And also one of our new sponsors, Rare Spares, jumping on board. And that's everyone. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, Thursday night and Sunday night. If you are interested in getting involved in SRW, especially for our Thursday night GR86 series, which is still looking for registrations. If you'd like to join, jump to simracingworld.com.au to join the series. Find our Discord link there. So I think it's also in the description of this stream, and you'll be able to join, come in, join the community, kind of very active community here, and definitely jump on board for some of the races. I'm very much looking forward to seeing new names on the entry list every week. I've been Thomas Preach Riley, and your lovely broadcaster and host this evening as well has been Nathan ShiBBy Howard. ShiBBy, another wonderful race tonight, but thank you for joining me in the booth again. And before we close out tonight, we'll close it out with our standard close that ShiBBy introduced. Stay safe and race hard.